All right, so I'm here now with Eric Gubert with MJR Digital Cinemas, marketing director. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me here today, Eric.
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you.
So, just kind of clue people in. MJR theaters are all over Michigan. They have a big presence. That jingle before the movie gets stuck in everybody's head, and people love to clap along. It's kind of like this took on a life of its own. Um,
Yes.
Give us a little bit of an update as to what's been going on inside of MJR during this pandemic.
Okay. I mean, obviously, like everyone, we're just, really trying to, make it through till we can reopen again. We've really been trying to stay in contact with all of our moviegoers through social media.
Yeah.
We're continuing to post several updates daily on just, anything from movie news or, some activities and stuff like that to keep people kind of busy. So, one thing we did do a couple weeks ago was we posted our intro with our song that everyone claps along to, and it was viewed about 20,000 times. So, people were playing it before their movie night, and
That's
it's
great.
people definitely miss us as we miss them, and so we can't wait to get back open. So
You know what, that I know it's talked about a lot, but that opening little jingle is such a thing, and it's so important. It's a symbol of this whole communal thing that we're missing. It's
right.
the idea that people clap along to it, and it doesn't matter where I'm at. If I go, I'm a film critic, so if I'm in a packed theater, or if I go to catch a movie on a Thursday night at midnight, there's always at least one or two people in the theater that give that clap at that one moment. You know what I mean? Like it's just a
Yeah,
known
right.
presence. Um, it really is more fun at MJR, by the way. So,
Yeah, well, I agree. Mhm.
where do you see things headed for MJR?
Well, ultimately, we're really just waiting on, when we get the go ahead from the governor, from the state of Michigan, as to when we can kind of move forward. But of course, we're talking about what we're going to try to, what to expect when we are officially given that green light. And we're not just sitting on our hands. We're definitely preparing for that moment so we can kind of hit the ground running once we get once we get that official green light. I mean, as to when, I mean, we're kind of thinking it's probably going to be closer to June when some of these businesses can start to reopen.
Yeah.
um and then we'll just kind of have to go from there.
Let's say the you get the green light in Michigan to reopen in May even. Do you think MJR reopens? And if so, what will it be like in that interim period before you have any big movies? Will you be showing older movies? What kind of things would you have planned, or would you decide to stay shut till you have something to show?
I mean, I'd say we definitely would want to open, before we get to that point of having the new larger releases. Like you said, you mentioned Tenet and
Yeah.
Mulan supposed to be out in July. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely looking at, the studios are making a lot of films of their older catalog available to us. And, we are looking at programs and things, that we can, that are attractive to bring out people. I mean, such as, some big event pictures and comedies and even horror stuff like that. Marathons, back to back sequels. We're just going to kind of, we're kicking around some ideas, and, nothing official to announce, but that will be, on the docket as far as the content. Cause you're right. There is no new product for a while. So,
As you know, over the years, like every couple years, every time there's a bad weekend at the box office, there's like articles. Is this the end of the movie theater industry? And nobody anticipated a pandemic, I don't think, but
right.
hopefully, I mean, I don't see people long term giving up on the movie theater industry.
Well, no, and when there's good movies,
Yeah.
I mean, that's been the case, for as long as I've worked at the theater.
Yeah.
Like you have, movies don't perform well, and then it's okay. Then the next one comes out and does really well. I mean, it just,
Yep.
I mean,
And that's what's going to be weird. Somebody was joking online too that they said, the one good thing out of this whole pandemic is that the Oscars are going to be like 20 minutes long next year.
yeah. No, I mean, no, it's true. I mean, you take out, I mean, a big chunk of business. It's gonna be a long road till things really are, kind of back to normal, as everyone's been talking. But I think also what maybe could happen is when when theaters start opening up and we're at a certain percentage of theaters in the country, I wouldn't be surprised if studios do start maybe bringing a few more pictures into July and August, as confidence kind of improves, as I'm hoping it will.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. So basically, just because this is the schedule right now as we sit here on April 28th, it doesn't mean that when we get to July and August, it actually might look a lot more fleshed out.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I mean, and I'm hoping it doesn't change for
The
the
worst.
negative, which, I mean, because it's kind of nerve-wracking when you're sitting there watching the schedule getting, like,
Oh yeah.
first
Oh
it was
yeah.
like, okay, mid-May was still there, and then they took Scoob out. It's like
Oh yeah. I get it. Yeah.
it
Absolutely.
just keeps shrinking. So
There has been people have heard in the past year MJR was bought. Um, does that is there any effect long term or short term even that like the moviegoer, like are we going to see anything change? What's the from the consumer's perspective, is there any kind of changes in line at MJR?
yeah, no, I mean, not really. The company still has the key players involved. We're still run locally, from
Yeah.
our Bloomfield Hills office. So, they're we're all still here, and we might have someone else above us, but we're still the same company, and we still have, we're still doing the same thing. So that's, we're not really looking to change anything major anytime soon. So
You said you've been with MJR for how long?
19 years.
19 years, man.
Yes,
So
yes,
on a
several
personal
different
level,
theaters.
how weird is it to not be in a theater? I mean, this has been your life.
You're right. Yeah, no, it's very odd. Every Friday, Saturday night, being in the theater, and having weekends now has been very odd. But
What do you think are the main things that you want to get across to the movie-going audience, in regards to feeling safe going out to the movies?
right, right. Well, ultimately, our first goal at MJR will be to, do things, according to what the current guidelines are. And so right before we opened, we or closed rather,
Mm.
we had went down to 50% capacity. So what that really involved was us basically checkerboarding our auditoriums, and we were only selling every 2 seats.
I see.
And then, and so that obviously keeps people distanced and so forth. And then, the other things moving forward that we're going to be trying to do are looking at staggering show times so that there's less traffic in our lobbies and in our common areas. That also will give us more time to thoroughly clean the auditoriums
Mm-hmm.
before each show. I mean, I know I've seen people are worried about touching the buttons on the recliners and door handles, and we're definitely committed to staying on top of keeping all of these, our condiment areas, and everything is going to be cleaned as we always took that seriously. But
Yeah, sure.
in these times is even more important to stay on top of.
Where can people go to get updates from MJR and also to get that opening jingle?
So it is on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm at facebook.com MJR Digital Cinemas. We're also on Twitter, as well as on Instagram as well.